So let's imagine, you have mentioned many times that one of the problems or mistakes that companies make is that they hire PMs that, or product directors, mostly product leads, that they don't know how to coach or to train their product managers, right? So let's say that you hire me in a company and I'm your new product manager, right? As of for the next 2 minutes. What would be in my onboarding program if you were to train me?
Sure. Well, you're right. First of all, the one of the big issues we have in our industry is that the leaders, most of them that work at these companies that are making the mistakes we're talking about, they've never worked at a good product company before. They've never worked at an Amazon. They've never worked at Apple. They've never worked at Google. They've never worked at Netflix. You know, they don't know. And so they've never seen this either. And I meet a lot of leaders like this that genuinely want to help, but they've never seen it. They're like, I'm new to this too. And in fact, I heard that so much that it was the biggest motivation for writing I have a recent book came out last year called Empowered. Many people have heard of Inspired, but Inspired was written for the product teams, for the engineers, for the designers, the product managers. I wrote Empowered for the leaders because I kept hearing this point you're bringing up, Hector, which is they don't know what they're supposed to do. And so I'm like, okay, we need to share the techniques of the leaders. Leaders need to help their people get better. And so, yes, so what I provide, in fact, the biggest single section in Empowered is to answer exactly the question you brought up, which is, how do I coach these people if I've never done it myself? And so the biggest single section is on coaching, staffing, coaching, onboarding. And what I wanted to do was provide at least a full year's worth of coaching. Assuming as a manager, you coach your people, you meet once a week at least for a one-on-one, for at least, half an hour to an hour, you're meeting with that person and your purpose is to coach them. I wanted to give the leaders a full year of content to talk about. And the idea is, and it suggests this in the book, the idea is if you've never done this before, okay, each week pick a chapter. They're small chapters. Each week pick a chapter, read it together, and then talk about how we can do this, how we can try this. So, and there are questions, there's lots of chapters on what we were just talking about, which is developing your skills in customers, in data, in industry, in your company. There's lots of coaching chapters about how do you make decisions, how do you assess risk, how do you work with stakeholders, how do you engage with customers, how do you engage with data. These are all topics. And so the idea was, if you do that as a new leader, as a leader that is trying to learn this, hopefully in a year of doing this together, you have also learned a lot. Because this is your responsibility, is to develop your people. Number one responsibility.